Welcome back to this special edition of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman. For many people, the view of cattle grazing in an open field reflects the ideal image of what it means to be a rancher. But it takes special care and handling and often very intensive management to ensure cattle don't damage the grass that is such a valuable natural resource. It's a challenge nearly every Environmental Stewardship Award winner has taken as a personal commitment to do whatever it takes to wisely manage and constantly improve their grazing.
Cattlemen not only care for their cattle, protecting the grass is just as important, and the livestock play a key role in sustaining that resource. Grasses have evolved with animals eating them, and in order for them to grow strong and healthy, they need to be grazed.
In the evolution of these prairies in here, the bison and the buffalo and the elk and stuff grazed this country, and that's how these plants evolved. They evolved by being bitten off. If you just let them go and don't ever work them, don't ever bite them off, don't ever walk on them, they get lazy and they lose all their vigor.
If you don't have grass, and if you're not a good steward, you're not going to have anything for the cows to eat. They're eating the forage to produce the beef. So if you're not a good land steward, you might as well walk away from it right now.
We try to show people by example that you can have grazing and cattle and that things work real well in harmony together, that it's just not one or the other. We go on the theory that non-use is as bad as overuse.
The key is managed grazing. Most ranchers agree that moving cattle frequently and giving grazed patches time to recover will help improve the grasslands in the long run.
It's smart management. You just don't turn your cattle in on a piece of ground and leave it till it's all gone. You try to management to get maximum growth and maximum nutritional value out of that piece of forage, which is much better for the land, much better for the cattle, much better for the wildlife in the area. That's what management-intensive grazing is.
Earlier, when I was operating with my father, we would run the cattle in all the pasture at the same time. And now, lately, we've been fencing the pastures and doing some rotational grazing. They run in one pasture maybe for 2 weeks and then move them to another pasture, and it just seems to increase the production you receive from the grass.
We've always been very conservative in our grazing patterns. We've never taken the grasses all the way down to the bare ground. We always leave something back, and our experience has been when we pull cattle off early enough in the spring, the grass will come back, and the economic benefit is that you have a lot of good fall feed for your cattle. But it just provides extra habitat for the animals out there. We just think it's a win-win situation not to overgraze your land.
10 years ago, I started with intensive grazing. You know, I was reading a little bit about it, kept seeing more information about it. You know, it just started making more sense. With the intensive grazing, it has enabled me to increase my herd, and with increasing my herd, I'm grazing more of my acres longer because I'm letting my pastures rest. It is the best thing that I've done on our farm.
Rotational grazing involves fencing a pasture into several small paddocks. Subdividing the pastures is a smart way to balance livestock needs with forage supply.
We're a big fan of managed intensive grazing. We take big pastures and make them into smaller pastures with temporary electric fencing. We found that it really helps us in managing the grass, which in turn helps us to manage the cattle.
Rotational grazing has been the lifeblood. Plus, we always operate to manage grass. We're grass farmers first, and we take an approach to understock the number of cattle compared to most farms and ranches. That pays off in the rotation program and having healthier grass. And when droughts come along, we have some grass. May not be the amount we want, but we have some grass, and we are not forced to go to market under stress situations with depressed prices when people are having to sell because they don't have grass.
Long as I remember, we rotated pastures. We rotate more now than we have in the past. Some people stockpile other commodities. We stockpile grass on the ground for a year-round grazing operation.
By rotating, they get that best grass all the time. And then they're easy to handle that way because they know when you're coming that you're promising them some fresh grass, and they move and handle well. But from a nutrition and poundage, gain, economics, you need to rotate.
We would have nothing to show if we didn't use the rotational grazing. That's the pivotal point of everything we do. You know, the cattle, they're secondary. The grass is our product. The cattle are our harvesting machines, and that's what we walk to market. And we have to take good care of them, but our base resource is grass. That's what holds the whole world together.
I know from personal experience the value of having more than enough grass to carry your cattle through the year. It's inspiring to see how these stewardship winners have taken their grazing management system to a higher level.